YouTube? We're back with another video, and today we are talking about home ownership and why I think home owning is a scam, bro. So, therefore, we're gonna get right into this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe down below, and I'm telling y'all, bro, we're gonna keep these coming every time of the week, whenever we get the chance to. But yeah, let me get this off real quick. Oh shit. No wait, we're gonna leave it there. Anyway, let's get right into the video, bro. We're gonna be talking about how owning a home can be a scam, because we all know in this world everything is rented. Nothing is owned. Like nothing is owned. We can say it a million times, but it's really not true. So let's get into the video and tell y'all. Until then, shit, we'll get this show on the road, ski.
But to their whiny voices, I say, look, your aunt and uncle's house may have gone up in value. Maybe Zillow's estimate marks it as worth $500,000 more. But three things are wrong with that. One, that is not all profit. I'll explain that in a second. Two, to even access any profit they might have, they would either have to sell the home to cash out, which then what? They still need a place to live, and if they want to stay in the same area, all the real estate in that area has likely gone up too, or they'd have to take out a loan against their house, which comes with interest and risk. And three, not every real estate market has gone up over the years. The famous examples being San Francisco's real estate market versus Detroit's real estate market. A certain element of luck is involved in whether your market grows over time. As for why that $500,000 of increased value isn't straight profit, well, because you have to subtract the decades of costs paid along the way. Property taxes, HOA dues, repairs and maintenance, mortgage interest, transaction fees, upgrades, renovations, that new kitchen your aunt was so proud of. To be clear, these are all non-equity costs, meaning that none of the money that goes to the expenses I just listed are contributing to how much of the house you actually own. The money is not going toward what we would consider the investment portion of your property. And despite what HGTV shows might have us believe, renovations are most likely not going to give you a positive return on investment, meaning if you renovate something in your house, yes, it might improve your living conditions or the aesthetics of the place, but you are not making that money back. According to RenoFi, quote, on average, renovations return 70% of your initial investment, so you probably won't get back the total cost of the remodel. And even if you don't want to remodel a single part of your house, you are likely going to have expenses that you can't even imagine right now.
In the less than 2 weeks since we've closed on this house, we have paid $4,456.55. But yeah, it just really puts into perspective how much it costs to be a homeowner, and we're definitely gonna start a home maintenance fund as soon as possible.
This is what I find so frustrating about the conversation around buying a house, because it's framed like the thing you do the second you're able to afford a down payment, or the second you hit a life milestone like marriage. It's framed as simple, straightforward, don't question the natural order, but that framing is incredibly misleading and can lead to many folks wasting their money, or worse, being house poor.
I bought a house when I was 26 and fell immediately into poverty.
I've found that older generations like to push home ownership the most, as if it's financial lunacy to do anything other than buy a house. And so, what do? We type in our income into how much house can I afford calculator, it spits us out a number, we open up Zillow or Redfin and filter by that number, and a few months later, we get the keys to our new home. Maybe this is dramatic to say, but I honestly feel like some people spend
if a female can break up with you quick, she's fair.
More time researching their future video game console or Japan trip itinerary than they do the financial realities of owning a home. Because just like we saw in that TikTok earlier, there is a major difference between the financial fantasy and reality of a house. In other words, the cost of a house can be staggering and hidden. Staggering in that they are way higher than most people would think. Ramit Sethi, who wrote the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich, talks about how the costs like maintenance, taxes, and repairs are typically 30 to 50% of what you pay for the mortgage. Meaning you'll likely
y'all gonna pay on this house for 30 years and get a 5% interest rate, which on a $100,000 house, right? A house can be cost $100,000 plus a 5 with that 5% interest rate, which is gonna make it probably $200K. So meaning once you pay off that $100,000, you really didn't pay $100,000. You really paid $200,000. So because that 5% made it $200,000. It's really just an extra $100,000 you're gonna be paying for no fucking reason. And then after you're done paying the whole $200,000 off on the house, you're still gonna be paying property taxes. Like, that's stupid, ain't it? How is it paid off if you still paying something for it? It's not paid off. Like, simple as that. Meaning it ain't never gonna be paid off because it ain't yours. It's the government's.
You pay nearly 50% more on your house in extra costs beyond what the mortgage calculator shows you, and hidden because people don't think about these costs when they consider home ownership. We frame the choice of renting versus buying as, well, rent is throwing away your money. If I'm gonna pay for a place to live, I might as well keep the money. But that framing has a fundamental misunderstanding of how different the cost of renting versus buying truly is. You don't believe me? Let's run through an example, and for it, we are bringing in a very special guest, Hat Kara. If you're not familiar with Hat Kara, she is the version of me that makes not so great financial decisions, such as spending her money investing in hats. What can I say? I look good in hats. Also, what are we talking about again? Are we finally discussing that cute little condo that I really want to buy in Savannah, Georgia? Yes, for this example, we are using the medium cost of living city of Savannah, Georgia, specifically looking at 2 properties in the gorgeous historic district, both 1 bedrooms, both in the same part of town. The main difference being that one is a condo to buy and the other is an apartment to rent. Well, look, I've got money to spend. The condo's super cute. I say, let's just buy it. Okay, well, that is my money, not your money. And let's run the numbers first, because this is a big financial decision. The place costs $425,000, so a 20% down payment alone would be $85,000. Yeah, but did you see the bathtub? It's pretty cool. Yeah, no, I saw it. Interesting design. But look, let me explain to you and to them what the costs would actually look like to buy this place. First off, we have the opportunity cost of not investing that $85,000 down payment. So many people do not even consider this opportunity cost when deciding to buy a house, and yet it is a huge, huge example of how home ownership is not the greatest investment. Because that down payment money is wrapped up in the house, we can't use it to buy something like a low-cost index fund, and that causes us to miss out on a lot of potential money growth. Just how much money? If we estimate a relatively conservative 7% annual growth rate for that index fund, in 10 years, our $85,000 would grow into over $167,000, and in 20 years, it would grow into over $328,000. That's nearly 4x growth in 20 years just from the money we'd be putting into the down payment. Already a huge financial missed opportunity by buying the house. Okay, but maybe not all of us want to invest our money in the stock market, Kara, okay? Some of us want to stash our cash in our hats. What's wrong with that? Plus, renting is pointless. You know, it's throwing away money. Well, first off, you should absolutely be investing and not just hoarding your cash, especially not in hats. And 2, renting is not necessarily throwing away your money. See, not only is renting buying you the freedom to be able to move easily for a better job or because climate change is causing floods in your city, not to mention renting likely gets you access to sweet amenities like a gym, but also you are paying for no maintenance hassles or risks of huge unexpected.
With the QuickBooks mobile app, you can snap your receipts, tap, and automatically sort transactions with a swipe. Take care of costs.
There's a popular saying that rings true here, and it goes, your rent is the max you will pay, your mortgage is the minimum. For renting our Savannah 1-bedroom, we are looking at $2,000 a month. And while the price might go up slightly when we renew our lease, we are looking at the price staying the same for the next year. Meanwhile, the condo we buy has a Zillow estimated monthly cost of $2,812 a month. This is between mortgage and interest, taxes, insurance, and HOA dues. However, one thing it does not account for is maintenance. Experts typically recommend setting aside 2% of your home's price to maintenance every year, meaning we should budget in $8,500 extra a year, or about $708 extra a month, bringing us to a $3,520 a month in expected costs. Already, that's about $1,500 more than what our 1-bedroom rented apartment is. Yeah, but most of that $3,500 for the condo is going toward investments, okay? Get that through your head. Except it's not. That is the exact point I'm trying to make. See, let's look at the amortization schedule for buying the condo. This means what the mortgage payments actually break down to be. Basically, we are peeking behind the curtain to see how much of our money is going toward the investment part of the house versus just being thrown at interest. As you can see, most of the monthly mortgage payments you are making are going to interest, not to your principal. The principal represents money going back to you one day, but interest, that is just straight money to the bank's pockets, money you are never going to see again. Yeah, but it looks like the interest payments are getting smaller over time. She thought I didn't notice. It's true, the interest payments do get smaller over time, but it's going to take decades for the payments to even become equal. And when you look at the loan payments as a chart over the 30 years, you realize how much money is actually going toward interest rather than equity in your home. By the end of your 30-year loan on that $425,000 Savannah condo, you'll have paid $340,000 into your principal, meaning you now own the condo outright, and you'll have paid $433,651 in interest. Money you are never going to see back. So in 30 years, you might have a place that's worth $1.8 million. That's based on a 5% per year growth, which is the average for a home. Absolutely awesome, to be clear, but let's factor in what you spent. Obviously, $425,000 to own the house, about $15,000 in closing costs when you first bought it, potentially $90,000 of selling costs if you plan to sell it, about $493,000 in non-equity costs like insurance, taxes, and maintenance, and $433,000 in interest from your mortgage payments. In total, you'll have spent around $1.45 million on the house, and that's if you never make a single renovation to the place. Renovations, for reference, can be anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000. Renovations aside, that leaves you with about $350,000 of profit that you would have made on the place. Nothing to scoff at, of course, but let's look at how it compares. See, if you rented instead, up front, you would have $100,000 from both the $85,000 down payment and the $15,000 in closing costs. You would also have your $1,500 a month extra to invest. You might say, oh, but inflation, that's going to impact those prices. And absolutely, but inflation will also increase the cost of owning a home. A lot of people don't think about that, but it's going to make insurance, property taxes, maintenance, and likely HOA dues all increase in cost. And since I didn't do that for the house calculation, we're leaving that out here too. So let's say with that extra money from renting, you invest. In 30 years, at a conservative 7% growth rate, you would have, drum roll please, $2.46 million, over $2.4 million versus $350,000 of profit. That is a huge difference, and that is why I get so annoyed when people claim that renting is throwing away money. Yes, if you use that money that you save from not buying a house to instead blow it on halls or buy a new Lambo, yeah, that's throwing away money. But if you use that money to invest instead, that is not throwing away money. That is strategic financial planning. Okay, we get it. You love renting. You don't like houses. You don't want anyone to own a home, do you, Kara? I forgot how much I hate your spiels, so I'm gonna go polish my hats. I'll see you later. She loves her tantrums. But also, she's wrong. It's not that I hate home ownership or that I think no one should do it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy a house one day because I do think there are some benefits, just not financial. See, I think that we need to rethink our concept of home ownership. A house is not a good investment. It is not where you should park money if you want to grow real wealth, and it certainly should not be the thing that you do just because that's what everyone around you expects you to do. So then, if a house is not an investment, what is it? Buying a house is a lifestyle choice. That is it. That's what we primarily should see it as. So if you know that you're going to be in the same location for at least the next decade and you want to be in the same house that whole time, and if you know you want to be able to customize a place to your heart's desire, and if you are comfortable with the financial opportunity cost that buying a house poses, then and only then is it worth considering home ownership.
But is it worth doing it though? That's the real reason. Is it worth it? Man, y'all let me know what y'all think, if it's worth it, man. Make sure y'all like and comment down below, and let me make sure to give me some more ideas for videos. I'm gonna keep dropping these every week. We keep these niggas coming. You already know this, Reese's. I'm confident. I gotta clock back out. Hey, the Central.